Screen 3, yeah. Okay, so I'm recording the screen. I'm not live broadcasting because there's probably no need to. Right, what we're going to do is remove the HTML tags. Are you guys ready for the most complicated bit of code that you guys have probably done so far?
No.
And I'm going to show you how you sort of build up code as you're actually running code to see about how to make things work. Okay. This is the first stage. Because this won't work completely yet. And it's a good start point to what we need it to do. So once we've got this code running, what we actually need to do after that is a test to check what happens when this starts and then what is actually wrong with this. And then we look and see how we can build up this code to actually do exactly what the flowchart says it needs to do. I've changed chairs 4 times today. I don't know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Oh, If there's any, by the way, there might be a few things where I look very confused and complicated generally at the moment. We're transitioning in a different form from one manager to another at the moment. As of yesterday, suddenly, we moved from the line manager we had, Teresa, we're now under Sarah Allsop.
Really?
Yeah. As of yesterday.
Is somebody got something wrong?
No, someone's left. So rather than get a new person to replace their role, they decided to spread the workload amongst themselves. Share and enjoy.
So the people at the top can carry on getting their pockets.
As long as that happens, everyone else will be fine. Yeah.
this thing what we're going on about before about identities and so on. It's going to make capture data a hell of a lot harder. So you're going to create web forms and so on, and then over time a new
There's now
version.
23 versions of gender, officially. Yeah,
Really?
really. 23 different versions of gender.
Male, female, and then
Everything else.
Just put everything
Wrong.
else in the wrong bracket.
Actually, there is a gender type called, I'm not going to go there, nullo, which is someone who identifies as having no gender study whatsoever. So
It's ridiculous, like
what they have.
70 different gender types.
there's 23 official
23.
ones. 23 official ones.
But it's something like Facebook, they said they have 70 before. It's like,
I heard it somewhere, that's where I heard it.
I was, cause I would say I'm quite right wing with what I believe politically. And I don't mean goose stepping and wanting to kill. Well, no, I do think in the world we need to sterilize certain people and have a genocide. Jeremy, anyone that goes on Jeremy Kyle, they should not be allowed to read.
Do you agree with this thing? If you go on benefits, you should be sterilised.
No, no. And unfortunately, that chap was from not far from where I live, and he's from Mansfield, where, to be fair, I'm surprised A, he's literate, and B, he's not been sterilised himself. But I always have. I call it heated debates with my friend who is, I think, the only Green MP in Lincolnshire. And we were arguing about, was it the LGBTQ plus group? Because every time we keep saying it, there's always a new letter. He said, well, they want to incorporate it, that it doesn't have H, does it? It doesn't include the heterosexuals. As you, oh, yeah, so they don't incorporate everybody, do they? They discriminate against us.
I don't know.
It's like
Anyway, that's the relevance to this. Anyway. Have you guys written the code for this?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd love to discuss the topic of justice.
Yeah, social justice. No.
Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen them on Facebook. Social
How do you do
justice
that?
warriors.
How to do what?
Shut down by logic.
How to do what?
That.
What have I done? What this? Solution
Oh,
Explorer.
you know the summary.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
just me being a little picky.
right.
Why is mine not great?
Right, watch my finger. I press ///. It does it all automatically for you. Yeah?
Right, yours is great and green. Mine's green.
It's because you've got
That's because you're on dark mode. That's why.
Oh,
Because
it's
dark mode does it differently to light mode. Because light
Dark
mode's
mode's
the
not
best.
better.
Right, why do you think dark mode's better?
I disagree.
I disagree as well.
pros.
Pros.
The really bad
Who's a
pros.
professional programmer? I'm right. No, not really. Most professional programmers prefer dark mode to light mode. I don't. I'm just I prefer like this way because I think I get if I use dark mode, as I start scrolling, I still see the pictures of the previous text in my eyes. You know, like as if I'm reading white text on black background, I still can see. Anyway, we need to test this now. So what we're going to do is on our test mist project, we're going to add. And we're going to add initializing templates. We're going to add a unit test, which then creates unit test 1. And we're going to call this review test. And the first thing we're going to say, do you want to rename everything? Yes, we do. The first thing we're going to do is HTML remover check.
What are we adding?
We are adding a unit test to test mist project. Yeah, if you find it on the add list, it goes down. There's new item, existing item, etc. Further down, there is unit test. And what we're going to do there is we're going to do review. Oh, hold on. Using Mist. Have we got business layer?
What? We're adding something to the business layer.
No, we're adding it to the test project. We need to add it as a reference as well. So on the test mist project, we need to add a reference to our business layer.
Unit test.
Right, let's go back. Okay, so you see where it says test mist project on your Solution Explorer? Yes? You right click on that.
Right.
And it then says add as a menu. When you go down that menu, you can see it says unit test.
Click.
You click that, it will create something called unittest1.cs in your project automatically. You right click on that rename. You call it review test. It says Would you like to rename the unit test? You say yes, and then you end up with what appears on my screen now. I then change the test 1 to HTML remover check. Are we all in the same place now? Yeah? Yeah, are we all there?
Test, that's what it's called.
The next thing we need to do is add a reference. So under Test Mist Project, there's a little box that says References. Right click on that, add reference. Select Projects, and you'll see this list appear, and just make sure that Mist Business Layer is ticked. Once you have done that, at the top where it says Using Microsoft Visual Studio Test Tools, we're going to add Using Mist Business Layer. We can then put review item equals new review item dot remove HTML tags, and what we're going to do is we're going to run a test. String result equals now what should happen is that the first tag should be removed from our HTML. But there's going to be a lot of errors. This is the process of programming, and we know what we want it to do. Now we've got to get it to do it step by step. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a breakpoint by clicking on the line string result right in the grey area to the left of the code. So it creates a little red circle next to that one line and highlights that line in red. I'll wait till we're all in the same place. Yours might be a different colour because you're in dark mode.
Yeah, you make
I see that. Dark out. Oh, what's your lights? Have you got something in colour? Oh, let's make it less. Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, mine's not fast.
Because you're not listening. This, where can you put your layer in? Yeah. Agendas reference. Projects.
Damn it, no, because I searched and I pressed enter.
Yes. There. You're there okay? You're there okay? And you're there okay as well. Good. Doing well. So then we're going to right click just underneath where it says HTML remover check on that first bracket, debug tests. And that will start compiling your code, and it will show, hopefully the red line will glow yellow. And then we can white box check exactly what is going to happen to our code. How do we do that? Well, at the top you'll see that there's a continue button, a stop button, and then show next statement, step into, step over, step out buttons. Can you see that on my screen?
No.
I don't know if it highlights. Can you see where the red square is at the top of my screen? In the buttons.
Oh, the string result.
No text. And you get these buttons that go inside. Oh, you've got the others. Connect the others. See the button up here? That's what it
Yes. That.
Next, step into, step over, step.
It's a place I have a list.
You hit the run button. You're not listening. No,
I
you're
said
not
debug.
listening. No, I didn't say debug. I said breakpoint there. What are you doing there? And then I said you need to right click, debug tests. You listen to me at the same time. Weird. Right, and then you've got these buttons up here, so step into, step over, step out. Yeah, all there.
We've got deep.
Lines and tightness and there, so am I. Oh, you've actually tested it. Okay. Actually, so debug tests. Using this debug. There we go. You're in the right place for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look and see what happens to results step by step as it goes into our code. So we use step into. If you want to use a key on the keyboard, it's F11, but don't press it too often. Right, so what happens is start finds that the text index of that is at 0. That means the first character of hello, of our string, sorry, is an open bracket, which it is. If it doesn't find the character that it's asking for, that number is -1. That's how we know when we finished. It can't find it anymore. It's then going to find the closing bracket. That's fine. It then creates a substring. And as you can see, what it's going to return, if we now hold our mouse over the word, if you move to the next line, if you hold your mouse over the results, you'll see it glows and you can see what the result is. It's removed the first tag, but only the first tag. Yeah, if you move, click one line on again. So actually, then it's right now on the yeah. Okay, that is still null because it hadn't then done that stage where it's actually moved it into result. So we know it removes one tag, but it doesn't remove all the tags. So what we need to do is we need to go round in a loop. So how do we do that? Right, we say start equals 0. Start equals text index of that. How does this make a change? Well, we've now got everything sort of incorporated into this one object. What we actually need to do is go round and round while start does not equal -1. We need some sort of loop. However, at the point where it runs start index of 1 and becomes -1, it then runs all that code there. So that doesn't seem to make sense. We almost need to do that check as the last thing before it moves on to the end. So what I'm going to do is at the very end of my loop, do my check for start instead of at the beginning. Take that at the top there and change this to while. So what this code now does is it says, right, let's see if this character, this open bracket, exists. If the open bracket exists, find the closing tag, create a temporary string, stick the temporary string back in text, now see if we've got another open bracket. If that next open bracket is -1, it will then go out of the code. If it isn't -1, it will go round the loop again. So we're going to debug and just check that that's actually what it's doing. So we go right click debug tests again. And then I'm going to go round the loop and we're going to just double check at each stage that it's going through what it needs to go through. So I'm going to go into the code. Now, what's really interesting, if you look at these locales, as they're called at the bottom, it shows you currently what text is and what start is. As I go into the code, it will show me numbers that change. So start is now equal to 0. Start equals 0. Text is that. Finish is now brought up finish, and it's highlighted in red that it's number 2. It tells me what the last command returned. It then is going to show temp and show how temp's been built up. Text is then changed. It's then going to try start again. Now it's found it again. It's going to go round again. Dun, 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 dun. Now the text is hello without any tags. Start equals -1, so it should come out of the loop. So we go to the end of the loop. Sure enough, it's returned the text. So it has got rid of all our tags. Now that means it works. Yay! Or does it? Dun, dun, dun. Is there an issue that with my string that I can cause it to crash on purpose? That is your next challenge. I want you Right, if you haven't already done the code for the, let me just, I'll put the code on both sides. I want you to come up with a test which causes this program to crash. Your job is to break it. It is possible. It is very, very possible.